Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to your SAHELI chat show. I'm Jas Saikon, your host. And 101 days of the lockdown, just as when we thought things were easing, Leicester's under lockdown again. So can we all just learn a lesson from Leicester's lockdown? Because as it eased, people started to go to the beaches, people started to go out and about into each other's homes. So we've got to be mindful because this isn't going anywhere for a little while. COVID-19 is still with us. And keeping our chat show realistic, today, my guests, I have Sandie Basra and I have Gurjit Rana. Welcome, ladies. Sat Sri Akal ji.
Sat Sri Akal.
I thought it was really important to bring you ladies because we've got real life stories. And when you share real life challenges, people can relate to this because we don't know who's out there wanting to hear your story. So anytime you want to join it, jump in and have your say. I'll go to Sandie first. Sandie, welcome because it's the first time you've come on board with us. And Sandie Basra is a makeup artist from Leicester. So Sandie, we have that in common. We're both Leicester girls, born and bred in Leicester, and we've both had a lot of challenges as well. Sandie, let's start with you. At 21, you got married at 21, which is so young.
It is. It's very young. I don't know what I was thinking back then, but it's just one of those things that just happened.
Absolutely.
So I got married at 21, and unfortunately, my marriage didn't work out. So I came home at the age of 21 as well. So it was 6 months being married and then 4 months being pregnant.
How come it was so quick? What happened? What changed?
You know what? It was just a roller coaster. Now, when I think back to it, because it was my son's going to be 14 now, end of this month. It just feels like a bad dream, because it happened so quick. Being married for 6 months and 4 months pregnant, it's not a norm. You don't hear about it a lot, especially in our community. And I think the whole thing the reason why my marriage went wrong was because it was all a lie to begin with. My in-laws were never truthful to me. My husband was never honest with me. We dated for over a year before we got married. And it was only a day after the wedding that I actually found out, what I was allowed to do from that point onwards, just because I was married.
In this day and age, you wouldn't expect, because back in our time, 35 years ago, the girls were treated like this, right? Because, it was totally different. It was a different world. And,
it was a different world. Even when I talk to my mum, mum, obviously you hear so many stories from your mums or your grandmothers about how it used to be for them back then, or how, because they were girls or women, they were treated a certain way by in-laws, even by own parents to a certain extent, if I take it back to our grandmothers' ages, back then. But in today's day and age, you never ever think that people like this exist. And growing up, I think all of us girls, the way we're brought up and the way our parents are, that's how we think everybody else out there is the same as well. But you just don't know what's happening behind closed doors. And I think that's where I got trapped, because it's one of those things as well. I think now it's easing down a lot, but when I got married 15 years ago, it was like, ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਹਜੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ, ਤੂੰ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ, ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ ਪਰ ਤੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਹੁਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਤੇਰਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. And I think that was, obviously I did what my parents asked me to do, but if I had gone to their house, I probably would have picked up on all the bad signals.
Yes, definitely.
And I say to my mum now, ਉਸ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਉਹ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਸਕਦਾ. I was going to get married and go there. He was never going to come into this house.
Yes.
And did you ever get a chance to get to know, did the in-laws interact with you? Did you speak with them often? Did they come with him?
It was like I can only go to them. I only ever used to see them if I, on the odd occasion at the Gurdwara, go to Matha Tek, or there's a function going on, see them. And when you see people out and about for 15, 20 minutes, everyone speaks nicely, everyone respects you, everybody, they have a face on.
ਉਹਨੇ ਦਿਨ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਪਾਣੀ ਬਾੜ ਕੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਾੜਿਆ ਤੂੰ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ
ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਾੜ ਸਕਦੀ and it was, and I say to my mum till today, if ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਣ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹਿੰਦੀ, spent an afternoon there or a day there, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿੰਨੇ different ਆ, if I can adjust in that family or not.
Yes, that's really important. You were so young, you see. When you're so young, you're quite gullible as well, because
you are, and I was very gullible. Yeah.
And that's probably why they probably thought she's so young and we can mold her how we want her to be, because that's what a lot of people try to do still today, which is shocking, but people do try.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's like, we're living in a world where, it's about equal rights and about women empowerment. But there's certain families out there that don't believe in such a thing. They don't believe that a woman should be independent enough. For an example, when I got married, I was only 21. As soon as I got married, it was literally, you're not allowed to drive a car because girls in our house don't drive cars. So from now on, it was his mum that was going to take me to work, and she was going to pick me up from work. Because I'm a girl, I'm not allowed at the house after 7 o'clock. I wasn't allowed to cut my hair. I wasn't allowed to, my hair was very long. It used to be up to my waist. I only chopped it off last year because I'm in my 30s now, to experiment with my hair.
Exactly.
My hair was very long, and it was like, I used to have a side fringe. So it was like, ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਬਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ, ਨਹੀਂ ਨੋਹਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਬਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਟਦੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਤੋਂ trim ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਲ. And but my sister-in-law, she had a short bob. So I was like, ਘਰ ਦੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਨੇ ਬਾਲ ਕੱਟੇ ਆ, why am I not allowed? And it was like, no, ਉਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਆ, ਤੂੰ ਸਾਡੀ ਨੌਂ ਆ.
Shouldn't do this. There should be no fark, but like say, there obviously is, and we thought it was just in our time, but it's shocking to hear this. But Melda ki aida karke, look at the stress it must have had on you, your parents.
Yeah. I didn't even tell my parents. Our parents spend so much money on our weddings. They're so happy for us. They're so excited. I remember every time my mum and dad, there'll be another phone on, my dad used to ask me, are you okay, darling? And I would just want to cry. So I just hang up and like, Dad, I'm busy, I'll talk to you later. Because I never wanted my parents to ever know I'm going through such a bad marriage. In my first week of being married, I'm going through such a bad time. It was literally, as soon as I got married, my whole, not even freedom, I think human rights were taken away from me. It was like, I'm not allowed to cut my hair, you're not allowed to drive a car, you're not allowed to wear sleeveless tops, you're not allowed to wear jeans in the house. You're basically not allowed out of the house after 7 o'clock. You're not. I knew they never used to bring meat into the house because his mum and dad were both Amritari. But I never knew that I could never even bring a cake into the house that had biscuit in it, like a cake into the house that had egg in it. Yeah, until after I got married.
Thing is, I believe. Yeah, I would say, Orna, it doesn't matter what the children eat, does it? If cake's got egg in it, they don't have to eat it. But you can only check so much and restrict one person so much.
But the thing is, I never thought of anything like that because my ex-husband, he used to drink, he used to eat meat, if he was eating meat, he used to eat everything. He was never restricted. So obviously for dating for a year, I never ever thought that it was ever going to be a problem for me because I come from a household where everybody eats meat and everybody drinks, so if they wanted a girl that didn't do any of that, they should have just found a girl that comes from a family like that.
Yes. So he'd never mentioned it to you in the 12 months that you were dating?
No, never mentioned to me that I'm never going to be able to eat a cake or a biscuit that contains egg, or a veggie burger, for an example, or you go to Asda and you can buy the corn branded corn because that has egg in it. I was never allowed to bring corn either. It was literally just whatever they're eating, I have to eat.
Because you were going through all this, how were relationships going to work out? What kind of effect would that have on your relationship with them and theirs with you? Because nothing was in alignment, right?
Nothing was in alignment. I just felt like I was lied to throughout the whole time I was dating. And then, the moment I got married, it was like, well, you're married now. What are you going to do about it? Literally a week of being... So it all started when we were on honeymoon. I remember I was in the shower and he was going through my honeymoon suitcase. And as I'm in the shower, all I heard was, we're leaving your suitcase here. We're not taking it back home with us.
Oh, no.
And I was like laughing, thinking, why? What's wrong with my clothes? And he was like, you're never allowed to wear a sleeveless top in my house. So everything in your suitcase is sleeveless, so we're leaving your suitcase here in Vegas. We're not taking it back home with us because you're never allowed to wear these clothes again. That was when it hit me. I thought, oh my god, he's not joking anymore. Like first, when you laugh and joke about it, but another, he's actually got really serious. This is serious. He really means this. And it all kind of started from our honeymoon, and then as soon as I got back, like I was never given a set of house keys. ਤੈਨੂੰ ਚਾਬੀ ਤੇ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੂੰ ਘਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਲੀ ਕਦੀ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ. Even if I wanted to go and see my mum and dad, I had to take his mum or him with me. I was never allowed to even go to my parents' house on my own.
See
and
that
then
they had trust issues, right? They had their own issues, didn't they? Trust.
I think they knew. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਰਹੂਗੀ. Okay, we need to keep control of the situation. And then obviously I became pregnant so soon into my marriage. A few weeks later I found out I was pregnant, and his attitude completely changed. It was like, well, you're married, you're pregnant, what are you going to do now?
And he was 21. That's what they're forgetting. He was 21 years old, right? And you're supposed to be having fun at that time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And obviously my parents have always said to me, ਵਿਆਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਰਿਓ, ਹੁਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ, ਵਿਆਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਰਿਓ, ਵਿਆਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ. And I was like, ਵਿਆਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ I'm even more restricted than I was before I was married.
Yeah.
Sandie, I find the whole thing really shocking from the perspective of your ex-husband more than anybody else. Like, clearly he must have known this is in a misalignment of what he's seeking externally, and he was happy going out with you, being with you, and doing what he was doing. But he's almost living his own life in a lie to his parents. And that's a harder thing for someone to take on board. Like, not only are you not getting on with your own parents, but the fact that you take on somebody else's life and do that to them, that's just
exactly.
Questionable.
His parents knew. Every parent knows what their child is doing and what their child is capable of doing. And they used to put a blind eye to that. And so I said, I goes, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਰ ਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਸਕਦੀ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੰਡਾ ਆ. But he goes out and he drinks on a Friday and comes home drunk. Or we got on there. He's bringing it into the house because it's in a system.
Consumed. Yeah.
But that was like, oh, ਸਾਡਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰੇ, ਤੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ. And then for an example, his sister came over Christmas with her 2 little kids at that time. And I came back from work early that day because it was the last Friday before Christmas. So work was closed early on that Friday. So I didn't bother ringing my mother-in-law to say, can you please, Mum, I've finished work, can you pick me up? I asked one of the girls at work to drop me off home because she was going that way. And as soon as I walked into the house, the sister sat there feeding her kids McDonald's chicken nuggets Happy Meal. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਅੰਡਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਰ ਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਸਕਦੀ, but their daughters sat there feeding their kids chicken. So, and the way I was brought up, my mum's like, ਕਦੀ ਮੋਰੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ, just bite your tongue, never say anything, don't cause a problem. With time, everything works out. So I was hoping that with time, things will work out. And obviously I thought, the sister-in-law is there with her kids. I don't want them to have a bad Christmas holidays because of me. Let them enjoy their time here. And then obviously a week later, I asked my mother-in-law, I said, Mummy ji, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਘਰ ਚ ਕੋਈ ਅੰਡੇ ਵਾਲੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਸਕਦੇ, ਪਰ ਭੈਣ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਨੀ ਨੂੰ chicken ਖਿਲਾਉਂਦੀ ਸੀਗੀ. Like, I don't understand. If I can't bring egg into the house, why is she allowed to bring chicken? And she completely denied it. She started calling me a liar. It's like, you're lying, tu jhoot bol diya. And it's like, मैं करके उदो नहीं कुछ किया doesn't mean you can now call me a liar if I'm asking you a week later.
That's the big thing with our Asian women. I've actually heard this. They even ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ, they go ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲੋ, ਜਦੋਂ ਪੁੱਛ ਪਛਾਇਆ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਮੁੱਕਰ ਜਾਵੋ.
ਉਦੋਂ ਮੁੱਕਰ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਆ. Yeah.
ਮਰੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੁੱਕਰੇ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਫਰਕ ਆ? How dare you do this? Because ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਲੋ ਫਿਰ ਮੁੱਕਰ ਜਾਓ. Come on, if you've spoken about somebody, at least have the guts to actually have that conversation and have the conversation.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, it's very true. And I think because, I don't know, I've cut my hair away, I was the black sheep in the family. I was the bad one. And when things got really out of control and I left at 4 months pregnant, and then, kadi, mere ghar gal nahi karna hai with my mum and dad. If I was in the wrong, like my mum rang them saying, je koi gal liya, tusi aake gal karo, she's pregnant, the baby's going to be here soon, we need to sort this problem out. And they just never came to my mum and dad's house to come and talk about anything because there was nothing to talk about, or there's nothing for me to, or the blame to be put on me. And then in the end, I remember just about 2-3 weeks before my baby was born, I rang my bucholle and I was like, I've had enough of all of this. I'm taking my mum and dad to their house because they're not coming here to talk. I want you lot to come there and what the problem is, because I can't carry on living like this. And when we went to the house, they denied everything. And I think because they were Amritari and my father, ex-father-in-law was, played a big part in the Gurdwara. I come from a Punjabi family. I come from a Sikh family. My mom, I've grown up going to the Gurdwara every weekend, sitting there. I do part at home. But the whole experience really put me off. I hardly go to the Gurdwara anymore. I just feel as if everything is a lie, because that's the way they treated me and that's what their beliefs were.
Changes you as a person, doesn't it? And I do feel, no disrespect to anybody, but the more religious somebody is, they feel that they've got the direct line to God, right?
They've got the power to lie.
I just want to bring in the fact that they probably haven't got a lot of compassion, right? And that's what I would take on that. I understand, my own parents are Amritdhari. My own sister-in-law lived with us for 12 years, should I say, married 23 years. And, we were very clear, my mum made it very clear for all of us of, look, guys, you're married, you're off to uni or whatever. These are the pots and pans that I'm using because she was Amritdhari. My dad also was at the time, and she was like, you want to cook our food, you can use these utensils. You guys can cook your meat, you can have your meat, just as long as you deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. You guys cook it, clean it, wash everything. You've got your own sets of pots and pans and knives, even down to chopping boards and things. And what I think is, it lacks education, it lacks understanding, but in its own, how to put it, in entirety, it comes back down to control and manipulation. That's what I'm hearing from it, which is still sad that this is the way we still treat people. But I'm still coming from a place, but tusi apana waheguru na chaddo. Don't give up going to the Gurdwara for somebody else. Do it for you. It has nothing to do with our religion, our dharmak, our beliefs in God. Don't ever allow somebody to do that. I know Bishwash Dr. Jinder, because you think this person takes on this godly world, in the way that we dress, in the way that they put themselves out there, but whatever. Let someone do what they do, and you do what you do. And I know, Sandie, that must sound really harsh, because I've been there. When I've had my own challenges in my marriage failing, I would go to the Gurdwara religiously on a Saturday, and then for a while I stopped. But I stopped because I thought, I've fallen out with God over, why have you given me this challenge? Why have you brought this to my door? And I was coming from anger and resentment towards my God, my guru, instead of actually going, hang on, I've got some challenges in here. And slowly but surely, done lucky. And for me, it doesn't matter what somebody says or does. But I now am very clear, those that dress or do whatever they need to do are Amritdhari, let them be. Like Benji said, it doesn't give them
and you're doing it for yourself,
right
aren't you?
passage. Hanji?
I said, like you said, you're doing it for yourself. You should never force it on somebody else. Hannah, and
do it when they're ready. They'll do it when they're ready, and when their time comes. You did it when you was ready. And I've actually seen both angles to this, because I was 29 years old and my mom, she was 52. She suddenly died in her sleep. So I was really bitter, really angry, and I didn't want to go Gurdwara. So I had my little argument with Babaji. But then when my husband died, when I was 41, you know what? I used to want to go to the Gurdwara every day. That's the only thing that's helped me through all the challenges that I faced as a widow. So I've seen both sides, but I go for myself, and it gives me that Mandi Shanti, and I have a blessed day, and I talk to who I want. But going in the morning is so peaceful anyway. I still refuse to go on a Sunday and talk to all these people that I don't want to talk to anymore. So that's fine too.
It's fine.
Well, you go
you've
when
got to
you need
find
to go.
yourself.
Yes,
You've
definitely.
got to find yourself.
And
Like, even my mum does part, like my mum does part, twice a day. And she was really upset the fact that I stopped going to the Gurdwara when all this happened to me. And I'm like, Mom, I don't believe in I don't believe in the people that run these gurdwara. I don't believe the
Yeah.
people that stand there and do speeches and then behind closed doors, like my ex-father-in-law, was a completely different man. As I said to him, I was like, I get up every morning and I do the Japji Sahib, but I do it for myself. I feel as
Yes.
if I don't need to go to the Gurdwara to show everybody, look, I'm so
No.
religious or I'm this or that. If I'm doing part, I'm doing it for myself. And we all have a certain connection with God,
Yeah.
and that's our connection. We shouldn't never force it onto anybody else.
No. And it's all within you, isn't it? Your beliefs and whatever you feel for Babaji, you've got that within you, and you know that. And seeing you so happy, it's just kind of all your adversities you had in your life, the challenges you had, it's made you who you are today.
Definitely. And I say this to my mom, even my mom, my dad, my nanny, especially my nanny, they'll all get really upset, upset by the fact that I went through all of that at such a young age.
Yeah.
But, I say to my mom and dad, I'm like, Mom, everything happened for the best. Even back then, I think I had an anger towards God as well. It's like, I've never ever done anything bad in my life. Why is this happening to me? Why me? Why am I going through all of this at the age of 21? And even I remember giving birth. I was there by myself giving birth, and I thought, I never imagined, ever to be in a position where I'm giving birth and I'm on my own. So obviously I think I had a lot of resentment towards God, but I think God has a plan for everybody.
He does.
Everything happens
He does.
for a reason, and everything's happened for a reason. And I think the reason that it all probably happened to me was because I was meant to go through these life experiences to now be a
Yes.
better person, and to be
Definitely.
the best possible mum for my son.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because when things like this happen, we do question, "Minna kate hoya?"
Yeah,
It's easy for somebody to say, "Koi nahi theek ho jana to idda karega to idda karega," but you've got to, once you've healed, yeah,
yeah,
you've got to heal first. However, you have to do it. You've got to do whatever it takes. And once you've done that, then, especially like now, we're talking about our adversities. You're over it, and you can actually help somebody else with your story. And that is the
yeah.
power of sharing the story. We've only got a few minutes left. Every time we do this, Sandie, the time goes so quick. But we will bring you on another session. But now, just quick final message from each of you for anybody that's going through anything so challenging out there. Sandie?
I would just say, we all go through bad times. It's about how we come out stronger from those times. It's about finding yourself, finding your feet, and doing what's right for you.
Thank you. And Gurjit?
I was going to say, just picking up on a point that Sandie made of why me, don't question why me, question what for.
Yes.
Why have I been given the challenge I've been given? What now? What can I create from it? Okay, so Jadwi, I look at it as now as it's never a problem. It's never a challenge. It's a question of I'm being guided to a better path. And I know it
Definitely.
feels uncomfortable, it feels painful, but it's onto a better path. Can I just say very quickly, Sandie, I am in awe of you to have gone through something like that. Firstly, so young, and secondly, you don't even look like you're a mum of a 16-year-old.
Sorry,
Or
14.
14-year-old. Sorry, I made him a little bit older.
See, that says it in
Good
itself.
boy,
You
good
look
boy.
so.
You know what? I say this to my mum all the time. When my mum's like, oh, what if this or what if that? I'm like, Mom, tusi shukr karo. If I was still married, firstly, I wouldn't have been happy. I would have been living a life for everybody else but me. At least I'm happy with my life, and I'm actually able to give my son everything I can. Um, and I want to tell all these women out there who have probably gone through bad divorces or single parents, see it as a blessing. See it as you're able to take full control and do whatever you can or whatever you need to do for your kids.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And from me, like they say, "Churasi lakh June apapoke," we get this human life, right?
Yeah,
So live this life on your terms. And whatever doesn't make you happy, it's okay to change it because it's your life.
yeah.
Live it on your terms. And we will bring you more real life stories going forward. So thank you so much, ladies. And Vaigu Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaigu Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you.